Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is J.R. Moore coming to you live from deep in the mountains of the Missouri Ozarks. On Tuesday, the 6th day of March, year of our Lord 2018, welcome to the John Moore Show. We don't have any major breaking news today. A headline on Drudge Report has to do with a former Donald Trump campaign aide, a guy I've never heard of before, Sam Nunberg, and apparently he's made some pretty outrageous statements, daring the special counsel to arrest him and so forth. I think it's a bunch of 10% of teapot myself. Prepper tip of the day. If you live in certain states, I'll mention a few of them: California, Illinois, New Jersey, New York, several others. You just might want to consider buying yourself a modern lever-action centerfire rifle. Winchester, Savage, there's others. Those are a couple of name brands that I know and trust. The way things are going, a semi-automatic rifle may soon be a prohibited item if you live in certain states. Don't worry. A 100-year-old centerfire lever-action rifle is quite capable of defending your life and the lives of the people you care about. I would suggest also you might want to buy it in a private sale, which gives no paperwork leading it back to you. I think that's just a sign of the times, the days that we live in, where that would be a prudent thing to do, is to have a good quality lever-action centerfire rifle with no paper trail leading back to you. That's your prepper tip of the day. We have a patient waiting in the green room, my friend Dan Sutterfield. Dan has taken it upon himself to engage in a project to help Republic Broadcasting get some funds in, which are revenues very desperately needed on one hand, and on the other, be a big benefit to our listeners. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, John. Am I sounding all right? I'm on speakerphone right now. I can change that if it's not okay.
Well, speakerphones typically aren't worth a darn, but this one seems to be okay, so we'll continue like we are.
Let me know if you don't like the sound.
Okay. One of the main problems with speakerphones is they cut off words because they remain silent until they hear something, and when they hear something, they cut off typically the first part of a syllable when you start talking. Regardless, well, you and I have been talking about this project for a number of weeks. Getting past the gatekeepers at Front Sight was a challenge, but you finally got past the gatekeepers and got permission to move forward with us. So, Dan, let's just begin from the beginning and tell people what this project entails.
Okay. Yeah, this has been about a 2-month project, and no fault on Front Sight by any means. They've got their job, and they do it quite professionally in all areas that I've dealt with them. It's quite amazing, actually, for such a large organization. But what we're doing, we've set it up so that, and this is with approval of the president of Front Sight, Dr. Ignatius Piazza, and never met the man, but I've watched a lot of his YouTubes and things like that. Pretty amazing situation he's got going out there. But what we've got set up is a fundraiser for RBN, and with a donation to RBN, you get a lifetime membership with Front Sight. It takes a $500 donation, and that lifetime membership is not only your lifetime, it's willable to somebody you see fit to pass it on to when you pass on. So this is a quite amazing situation that Front Sight has set up and then allowed us to do this. And by the way, John Stapmiller, the president of RBN, he broke this news last night on his program at 6 o'clock Central Time, and he seems pretty excited. So I'm really happy this is happening, and there's a lot of potential here for people to help RBN and to help themselves.
Absolutely. Well, Dan has Do you know if Republic Broadcasting has a banner or a tile up yet on their website to promote this?
Actually, this whole thing broke loose for me late yesterday morning, and we've got it started. And like I said, Mr. Stapmiller broke the news last night, and I've sent them stuff information that they're going to post on their website. And as soon as we get off the air here and I can get a hold of the secretary, we're going to make sure that all the information needed to do this is on RBN's website. We'll go through some of it today. I don't know how long you want to work on this, but I'll be glad to explain it as quickly and as simply as I can.
Well, there's no hurry. I'll have my webmaster, Tim Spencer, put up a tile on my website, directing them to Republic Broadcasting's section on that as well. And I hope that all the hosts, the various hosts at Republic Broadcasting, will do the same thing. The ones that have websites, which I hope that most of them do have websites. This is a great opportunity, and with the demographics of listeners on the John Moore Show, I know there's going to be many people interested in taking advantage of this, getting the highest quality training that you can get. In fact, I believe there's a lot of active duty military people that participate at Front Sight in getting training, aren't there, Dan?
There is a lot of people. If people will go to the website, frontsight.com, there's more YouTubes there than you could probably watch in quite a while, of drill sergeants, Navy SEALs have taken these classes, people in law enforcement have taken them, and for the most part, they look right in the camera and they say, I thought I understood everything there was to know about rifles and pistols and shotguns until I took these classes here at Front Sight. And as far as the quality of the class, this isn't your average run-of-the-mill, if there is such a thing. I know everybody's got their own idea of what quality is, but Front Sight is just absolutely amazing with what they offer. They just completed they just completed 25 new ranges. And these are world-class ranges. This isn't somebody that drove a stake out in the middle of the desert and hung a target on it. There's like 10 or maybe there are 12 or higher foot of berms on either side. Most of the ranges are like 50 to 100 yards. Of course, they've got the long ranges too. And it's just exceptional quality of facility and the trainers and the coaches that are there. You've got a good coach-to-student ratio. I think we had 30 in the class I attended, and they had 5 coaches. And they weren't sitting back drinking something and letting each person take a turn. They were milling all around us at all times, keeping an eye on everybody, very respectful. We had women in the class. There was no coarse language. There was no, for lack of a better term, no military mindset. They didn't belittle you if you made a mistake, or, of course, they don't want you to make the fatal mistakes. They're really strong on safety. And, John, the day I started there, my wife and I went out there for a 4-day pistol course each. There were over 600 people in the big building. And I'm going, I'd never been there, obviously. I'd seen it, but, seeing it and on the YouTubes and being there is a whole different thing. And I was there, and I'm going, oh, my goodness, all these people running around with guns. I didn't have a flak jacket or anything to wear, and I was a little apprehensive, to say the least. But after we had our initial get-together in the building and we went out to our individual ranges, you could hear some gunfire in the distance, but it was like we were there and they were there just for the 30 people that I was with. Very personal, very very professional. I just can't stress that enough. And everybody that I've talked to that's been there, they just can't say enough about it. My grandson and son-in-law went out there this past January, and my grandson and I get along good. He's just turned 19. Of course, there's quite a bit of age differential there between he and I. And we, hi, Grandpa, hi, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. We get along good when we see each other. When that kid came back, he called me and talked for an hour. And I could barely get a word in edgewise, and I was just beaming. And he was telling me about all the great stuff, and I could get in, yeah, you're right, now and then. He was just amazed. He says, there's no way you can explain to somebody the experience, not verbally. So it's just an incredible place.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, Dan. I'm really happy to hear it. If you got a question or comment about this offer we're doing at Republic Broadcasting, give us a call at 800-313-9443. So we're getting people interested here. They would like to take advantage of this. Dan, what would the process be? Start from the beginning.
I'll start from the beginning. If I start drifting, John, just slap me, okay?
Okay.
It's not intentional. Okay, so what it amounts to is you need to create an account with FrontSight. This costs you nothing but some time. You go to their website, and all this information will be on RBN's website, how to create an account. And, again, there's no cost at all to do this. It's just a way they can track what you've got, and you can track what you've got. You enter all the information necessary. You'll have to pick a login ID name, if you will, and then a password. What you will do would be send a check to me along with your login ID only, not your password. That's your personal thing. Keep that secret, more or less. And once I get the login ID and the check clears, I will transfer a Commander lifetime membership into your account. So that's what it amounts to get the lifetime membership. And this Commander lifetime membership is one of the top 2 or 3 memberships you could ever have with FrontSight. By the way, FrontSight isn't open to people that are driving down the highway and go, hey, let's go in there and take a gun class. No. These people have all been checked out. You have to submit a character witness statement, and that just gives them one more idea of you're a decent human being. Somebody in your community felt like they could vouch for you. And once that's all done, then with 2 weeks' notice, you can take any class they've got. They offer over 50 classes, John, both day and night, and in all areas of firearms, pistol, shotgun, rifle, even Uzi. I don't know what you do with that other than have fun, but a hand-to-hand, rope, family safety, defensive driving. They've got over, I think it's 550 acres there, about 20 miles from Pahrump. Oh, and by the way, if the location bothers people, it's a long way out there from where we live here in mid-Missouri. But there's a name for that, John.
What's that name?
Vacation.
Uh-huh.
And people take vacations. I know they do. I talk to them. Yeah, we went down to Fort Myers, or we went out to the Bay Area, San Francisco, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, that's great. You can relax. You can have some pictures. But the vacation at FrontSight, and you could do other things while you're out there, of course, that's going to pay you back the rest of your life in your ability to handle a firearm in case you would have to defend the life of you or somebody you love. And, when I grew up, John, my dad thought pistols were dangerous. We didn't own a pistol. We had a number of rifles. We used to go groundhog hunting over in southern Illinois. They were just infested with groundhogs. I hand-loaded. I loved it. I shot a lot. And I never owned a pistol until I got married. And that old axiom that we've all heard, you don't know what you don't know, that hit me right between the eyes at the end of my first day. I thought, oh, my goodness. And I've read a lot of magazines and a lot of outdoor magazines and life member at NRA, and I read a lot, and it's not that I think I don't know anything, but boy, once you've been there in front of professional trainers and experienced what they're showing you, it's a whole new world. And it made me feel good that I had done what I did, joined Frontsight.
Well, I'm glad you did. And a lot of people are listening all over the country, all over the world, literally. And they're thinking about this, they're pondering it. And I hope they'll pay heed and do the right thing. Sign up to both help Republic Broadcasting and help themselves. It's certainly a win-win situation, isn't it, Dan?
Oh, my, absolutely. I can't think of a better. And, you know, if this isn't something that somebody's intimately interested in for themselves, I couldn't think of a better graduation present, whether it be college, high school, whatever, for a young lady or young man that wants to be trained and do a good job in handling firearms, a good, safe job. And a few other. There's so much here to cover, John. I'm a little scatterbrained, but I'll do the best I can. This Commander Lifetime membership has a lot of things that go along with it. It's not just free training for the rest of your life. The facility out at Pahrump, or near Pahrump, they've just recently broken ground on their overnight accommodations, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. I've seen the sketches. You can go online and see the renderings of what they hope to provide for their students. And with this particular level of joining Frontsight at the commander level, once that overnight facility is done, and they're estimating 18 to 24 months, I think, you'll be able to stay there for free whenever you train.
Amazing. Here's our break. Call number is 800-313-9443. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. As most of you know, my regular listeners, I offer energy cleaners for sale at my website. If you don't have a clue what I'm talking about, go to my website, thelibertyman.com, educate yourself about these marvelous healing devices. We focus on pain mitigation and getting a great night's sleep. Arthritis pain, joint pain, back pain, doesn't matter. Keep in mind, I offer from me to you personally a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's what I do. Energy cleaners, $285, shipping included to American zip codes. You can educate yourself all about the energy cleaner right there at my website, the patent application, the wonderful testimonials. Be sure and check out the factory-made fitted mattress pads to go with the energy cleaner. Now, I offer from me to you personally a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's what I do. I have a toll-free order line, or you can order it right at my website at thelibertyman.com. That toll-free order line is 800-592-9543. I say again, 800-592-9543. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. It's taken 3 years before I could offer the inter-shelter domes for sale. During those 3 years, several different governments and militaries were taking all their production. The inter-shelter dome homes may be just what you've been looking for to provide affordable, energy-efficient, permanent, and attractive housing. These dome homes are prefabricated units that can be assembled in a few hours by 2 men with a ladder and simple hand tools. Check out the photos of these dome homes built in the Arctic, on tropical beaches, in suburban areas, and in forests. All the details, many photographs, and the pricing of the dome homes are listed on the left-hand side of my homepage at thelibertyman.com. I think you'll find these homes are not only attractive, but they're energy efficient, and a bonus. You can disassemble them and reassemble them as many times as you feel you need to. Pretty great, huh? Something that's very, very unique. Check them out at my website at thelibertyman.com. Thank you. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Tuesday, the 6th day of March. My website is thelibertyman.com. If you plan on going to Dallas later this month to see me, I will be the keynote speaker at the Hear the Watchman conference. About 1,200 Christians getting together to hear some excellent speakers. If you want a discount, go to my website, get the discount code from the banner, the Hear the Watchman banner, and you can get a discount to attend the event. Visiting with Dan Setterfield, and we're talking about an excellent way to do two things: help Republic Broadcasting get some very much needed funding, and help yourself to get world-class training with rifles, shotguns, pistols, submachine guns, various other forms of training. Dan, let's talk a little bit about those other forms of training. You mentioned defensive driving, didn't you?
Yeah. Now, I haven't looked into that a lot, but if you go on their website, you can read the course outline for everything they offer. I don't know exactly where I looked around a little bit at Front Sight, but like I said, it's virtually a square mile of desert country.
Right.
I did see the big towers where they've got the rope training set up. Of course, the hand-to-hand.
I'd like to see you go off one of those towers, Dan. You want to go off there with me?
I'd be glad to be moral support, John, but it'll be ground support, I'll tell you.
Well,
I'm not a climber anymore.
You used to be.
Well, I've climbed many a tree in my life, but...
Okay. All right. Well, these ropes, my climbing ropes are rated at 6,000 pounds, so, they'll,
What are you trying to say, John?
They're more than strong enough, because you're not even anywhere near that kind of...
Oh, no.
Not even close. 6,000 pounds is a lot of weight.
Yeah, it is.
I've set up defensive driving courses myself for students I've had in the past for training bodyguards, and I've done some competition driving as well as a lot of pursuit driving. So I would like to see what they've got set up there. Is it?
I'll go to their website, and they've got a course description of every course they offer.
They don't have any videos set up yet of the defensive driving, I guess, do they?
I'm not sure, John, but
okay.
I'll tell you, if anybody's interested in talking to them, this is one place. Every time I've called them, and I've called them a number of times, you get to talk to a human right off the bat. The number's 800-987-7719. 800-987-7719. Now, they're out in Nevada, so you got to give them a couple hours. They're a couple hours earlier than we are. But, you can talk to a human there, and they'll pass you on to whoever's need be to answer your question. They're very personable, very professional. Some more things about it, just so people kind of got an overview of what's happening out there. They've been in business out there right at 19 years now, and they've trained. They're almost at the 1 million man mark. Now, I didn't do the math, but that's a lot of people each year.
Oh, yes.
And now that they've got over 50 ranges, it's not crowded, folks. It's just amazing.
Well, if you had 20 years, that'd be 50,000 a year to get to 1 million. That's an impressive amount of people for any facility. Very impressive.
It is.
Yeah.
And let me interject something here that's not directly related to RBN, but to our nation in general. The president of Front Sight, Ignatius Piazza, very patriotic-minded man. I would encourage anybody to get on there and read what he talks about. It's enlightening, it's refreshing, and what he's done in two areas, it just blows me away. He's offering to the United States residents, if you will, a free 4-day pistol course for any and all currently setting federal, state, county, or city government politicians.
Amazing.
So if you're in city government, county government, state government, federal government, any politician currently serving the United States people, you get a hold of Front Sight, and I'll give that in just a second, and they will provide you a free 4-day pistol class. and they provide the gun, the ammo, the eye and ear protection, everything. Also, they're doing the same thing for any school teacher when the school will allow them to carry. If the school teacher will request on school letterhead that they would like to take the class, they get the same deal free. Now, there's a lot of people involved there that he's willing to offer this to.
Absolutely.
I couldn't imagine how many politicians are in the U.S. or how many school teachers, but that's a whole load of people. And he's put that out a number of times to the members like myself to spread the word. Well, this is an amazing opportunity to spread the word. Has nothing to do with RBN at this point, but I couldn't pass up the chance to get it out over the air. I hope
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. That's not an issue. We'll be back on the air. Just stay tuned, everybody. We got a break. I thought we had a break. There it is.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. We're continuing our Energy Cleaner promotion, which began August of 2016. In this promotion, you get to buy an Energy Cleaner, $70 off retail, and a mattress pad, 10% off retail. $200 of the purchase price of the Energy Cleaner goes to Republic Broadcasting. This is a great way to help get energy cleaners out to people who need them and have some financial issues to deal with. And, of course, a great way to support Republic Broadcasting. Here's what you do. Send in a postcard. My address is John Moore, P.O. Box 201, Davidsville, Missouri. We pick a postcard every 2 weeks. If your postcard is drawn, you get the chance to buy the Energy Cleaner, $70 off retail, and 10% off the mattress pads. Put your name and your address, your telephone number, and your email address on the postcard, and we wish you the best of luck. Thank you. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Tuesday, the 6th of March. My website is thelibertyman.com. You haven't been there for a week. Well, we've moved some things around. What we've done is consolidate all the violent climate change information to one spot where it's easy to find. It's all consolidated and easy to locate everything as opposed to jumping here and there. It's all on the left side of my home page. Just scroll down the left side, just below the Confederate battle flags, and you'll see everything listed there. So that's helpful, and this is in regard. We decided to do this because of my event in Dallas. There's going to be a lot of new people going to my website, and I want to make sure they can find this particular bit of information very easily without having to jump back and forth around the website. Also, my website, of course, you will find energy cleaners for sale. This is my home business. When you place your order, I'm the guy that packs them up. I take them to the Little Country Post Office at Cherryville, Missouri, where every Friday evening you can get an all-you-can-eat catfish dinner with side dishes, dessert, and beverage for less than $9. Pretty neat, huh? Only $285 for the energy cleaner, and I offer a 90-day money-back guarantee. If you have joint pain or arthritis pain, rheumatoid arthritis, doesn't matter, back pain, it will most likely help. Not getting a great night's sleep, many people have issues with sleep. You'll probably get a better sleep than you've had in years with the energy cleaner. Check out the details at my website, the patent application information, the wonderful testimonials from people we know like Steve Whitman. Then go ahead and make your purchase. Get yourself an energy cleaner. Get yourself a mattress pad to go with it. We have a twin size, full, queen, king, California king, the handy travel size, all listed there for sale at my website, thelibertyman.com. I have a toll-free auto line 24 hours a day. Here it is, 800-313-9443. I say again, 800-313-9443. 888-948-9443. Visiting with Dan Sutterfield. Dan has been most gracious to take it upon himself to help Republic Broadcasting. Of course, Dan's been doing this for years in one way or another. Dan is what they also call a micro broadcaster, aren't you, Dan?
Yeah. Rick's satellite system is what I've got, and I really enjoy it.
Well, you broadcast Republic signal for your neighbors out there. The signal doesn't go all that far, but far enough that people not too far away can pick it up and hear Republic Broadcasting, courtesy of Dan Sutterfield, running his micro broadcast station, right?
Yeah, that's what they tell me. I did hear something about the FCC. They've changed some rulings, and I don't know if I'm totally in compliance. Maybe we don't need to talk about that here, but what I heard was that if the signal leaves your property, you might be in violation.
Well, you got to. We can just put a wall up, and then it won't get past the wall.
There you go. Yeah, it's line of sight. There you go.
Keep those. We keep out illegal aliens and keep the illegal, very dangerous broadcasts from escaping the premises.
Right.
I think they got bigger fish to fry than you, Dan. Quite frankly.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's not an issue. You're going to be okay.
I'm not hang up with the low wattage I'm making here.
Yeah. You're not burning up the electric bill. Well, Dan, how did this project first come to your mind, if you recall?
Well, I've been a member at Frontside since '09, and it took me a while to get my ducks in a row and plan and get out there. I went out 2 years ago, December, and that just set me on fire, seeing everything going on there. And then your buddy Leon Green, he's a Frontside member big time, right? Him and his son?
He's taken pretty much every course out there at least once. In fact, they've invited him to be an instructor, but he's had to politely turned him down because his life is going in other directions. I'm not sure if Leon's back from Europe today. If he is back from Europe and his vacation, he may be on with a second hour. But Leon is the real deal. He's very enthusiastic about Frontside, loves the place, loves the instruction, and absolutely.
Yeah, but listening to him talk about, well, John, I got to go get ready for my class, and I know what he's saying, man. I was just fired up when I was out there, anxious to go every day. Yeah, well, I got to thinking that over the years, after I joined, they would make me offers that I just couldn't pass up, and it's not just me; it's all the members that are members of Frontside. Dr. Piazza called it a 3-for-1 thank you at the end of the year. One of them was donate $3,000, pay $3,000, get $3,000 in ammo, and at only 20% above manufacturer's cost, and you would get $3,000. Was it $3,000? Yeah, $3,000 credit at their pro shop, and they might give you, 1 or 2 dozen of these lifetime memberships to do with as you see fit. And I'm going, my goodness. So I couldn't pass that up. And their pro shop it's not huge, but it's absolutely amazing. Everything in there is absolutely top quality, world-class products. All the prices there are list price, but you get 40% off, which puts it down to about what you'd give for at most places.
Okay.
So he did that 2 or 3 years in a row, offering guns and various, quality deals like 3-for-1 value. And I started stacking up a lot of these lifetime memberships. And I got to thinking, what am I going to do with all of these? And then he tells us what he would like to see us do is to meet people face to face and tell them our experience, my experience, and and promote front sight. His goal is to get every red-blooded American that can legally have a firearm trained to their highest level of efficiency for the sake of the nation and themselves. And that's a pretty wonderful ideal. You know, I don't know if he'll ever make that, but that's what he's shooting for.
Well, Ignatius certainly knows how to appeal to people and do really good marketing, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. And by the way, as soon as this overnight facility is completed at the location out there near Pahrump, he's planning on putting in another facility in either Texas or Florida. He doesn't know which yet, but I can't imagine that not happening. So for us here in the Midwest, if he can pick Texas somewhere in the center of the state, that'll save a lot of time. But it's still worth the trip. I can't tell you enough. Even though it's 1,600 miles from central Missouri, it's worth the trip to go out there. Right.
Well, a facility in Texas would be wonderful for many of us in the Midwest. It's a one-day drive as opposed to 2 days to drive out to the Las Vegas area. 2 long days, I should say, to drive out to Las Vegas.
A long run.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, if you think there's any gotchas here, in my mind, there really isn't. There are no yearly fees. There's no dues. If you get this membership and you can't go for 5 or 6 years or whatever time frame, you haven't lost a thing except you didn't get any training. You're not out any money for that. The year that you choose to train, whether you take one class or all of them, which would almost be impossible. I think it probably would be impossible to take them all in 1 year. There is a single $50 background fee check. With their liability insurance, needless to say, they've got it. One of the requirements of the insurance company is that background check every year that you train in. So if you don't train, you don't pay. But it is just a one-time $50 for that year. And that's still pretty reasonable.
It is. They're not making any money on that background check. I know when I do a nationwide criminal background check for a client, I charge my clients double that myself. So I know they're not making any money on that little bit of business there. Well, this is wonderful, Dan. It's very gracious of you to step up to the plate, to help Republic Broadcasting, to help our listeners, and to move our respective agendas forward to continue getting the word out to people worldwide. Republic Broadcasting does have a worldwide audience, and to help Americans get properly trained to defend innocent life and property. Like I said earlier, a win-win situation. I'll be looking at this myself for my personal use. I don't pretend to know everything. I'm more competent with pistols than most people will ever be on one hand. On the other, I haven't had enough trigger time behind centerfire rifles to be as good as I would like to be consistently under all conditions from different shooting positions. So I'm certainly looking forward to getting some higher level of coaching and training than I currently have. And being in the presence of men who have this kind of expertise is very gratifying, isn't it?
Very inspiring, yes. It makes you feel good. As long as we were near the topic of money, if you would happen to stumble on Front Sight or somebody say, hey, you ought to look into this, quite a place, you need to sit down. That Commander lifetime membership goes for $25,000 if you would sign up for it online. And I know people have done that in the past. They just didn't know, and there wasn't anybody offering this. The only way you could get a deal anywhere close to this is find some other member of Front Sight that's willing to pass on some of the lifetime memberships that they've accrued because of their investment with Front Sight. So This doesn't come along every day. You might find it somewhere else. More power to you. But in this case, you're going to be helping Republic. And I want it clearly understood, you're not buying this membership. This membership is a thank you for donating to RBN. And it's under that guidelines that Dr. Piazza has allowed us to do this. Because the information that he's put out to the members, if he catches a member advertising in the newspaper or on TV or whatever, he will pull the membership. And you're just left flapping in the breeze. You're no longer a member. He wants it eye to eye, face to face. And if it wasn't for the fact that I know he looked into RBN because they asked for all kinds of information on who this radio station is, what they do, where they're at, and I sent him all the information. And I talked to a gentleman by the name of Mac, and he said, there's no way Dr. Piazza would have allowed this if he wasn't comfortable with it. And the only thing that's a stipulation on the whole deal, we have a 90-day window, John, to do this. Dr. Piazza has allowed us to do this for 90 days. So,
well, okay, 90 days. The window opened yesterday, which would be the 5th of March. So we got the 5th of April, the 5th of May, the 5th of June. So this offer ends the day before D-Day.
Yes. Now, the thing that we can do to stretch this without being ornery about it, the promotion on the radio will have to stop after 90 days.
Right.
But the people that have taken advantage of this, if they want to help RBN after that, get a hold of me again. I'll make sure it happens. I'll make sure RBN gets theirs. So we just can't promote it on the radio after 90 days. We can't really talk about it. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to lose my membership.
Right.
So, let me back up a minute, John, just real quick.
Please, go ahead.
I was talking about the free 4-day pistol classes for any setting politician and for any school teacher that the school would allow them to carry. And I explained that the person they need to get a hold of, if they're interested in doing this, you could just call the number, the 800 number that I gave out, 800-987-7719. But also you could email the guy that will set that up for you, and that email for the free 4-day pistol class for the politicians and the teachers is Mac, M-A-C-K, at frontsight.com. Mac at frontsight.com. And I actually talked to Mac yesterday, and they're doing all they can to try to get people in a position to help people to be properly trained. What promoted the politician thing was that debacle that happened at that baseball game or softball game, whatever that was.
Right.
And then
I believe,
teacher,
right. I think it was softball.
Started that offer for the teachers just recently. So,
well, I met with a dozen or so high school teachers. It's been a couple, I think about 2 or 3 years ago after one of these. It was probably after Sandy Hook, is most likely when that was, several years ago, in one of our local high schools, and talked to them about what concealed carry training involved, and offered to be their instructor. And I had several of the teachers take me up on the offer and get themselves trained up. Given what's going on now, I was talking to one of the police officers in one of our communities, and I know there's an increased interest in the school districts for having school resource officers on the premises, and I don't know what the status is of teachers, school bus drivers, custodians, administrative people getting trained up, but I'm knowing our area that we live in, Dan, I'm sure it's being discussed, aren't you?
Well, I would like to think so. I couldn't think of a better way to have a summer vacation than for 4 to 6 teachers getting a nice minivan and and change off drivers and go out there and get trained.
Absolutely. Here's our break. If you got a question or comment, give us a call at 800-313-9443. We'll be right back. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back, J.R. Moore here on Tuesday, the 6th of March. Dan, we'll be talking a lot about this over the next 3 months to get the word out. This is radio. We got new listeners every day, every week, to get the word out to people that they have this opportunity, that they can take advantage of this opportunity from now until the 5th of June. And help themselves and help Republic Broadcasting. For all this, for your efforts, Dan, I want to publicly thank you for your efforts and encourage people to consider what Dan's offering here. And if it's something that fits you, fits your lifestyle, fits your goals, then by all means take advantage of it. Right, Dan?
Yes, sir. And don't forget, if it's something that you think somebody you know and or love could use, like I said, it would make an incredible graduation present for male or female, whether at the college level, high school level, whatever. And I'd like to leave my phone numbers, and if that's all right, John, so people can get a hold of me.
Just give out one phone. Just give out one phone number. It will confuse people. Go ahead.
One phone number. Okay, I'll give my cell number out. It's 573 465 2356.
Okay, 573-465-2356. A little helpful hint here, Dan. I never give up my landline because my cell phone is permanently forwarded to my landline to avoid confusion.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. If you call my cell phone, I don't pick up. It rolls over immediately to my landline, and that makes it, giving out one number makes it easier for everybody. Well, fantastic, Dan. We're down to the last minute here. Now, how many of these courses have you taken yourself so far?
Well, I hate to admit it, I've only been out there once.
And you only took one course?
One 4-day pistol course is all
Okay.
I've personally been able to take, but I will return.
That sounds like I've heard that statement before. I think. Where have I heard that before? I will return. I shall return.
Maybe that's Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm not sure.
No, I think it was General MacArthur.
That's I'll be back, baby, wasn't it?
it was General MacArthur. I shall return.
Oh, okay.
And he did return. They had to redo the beach landing a couple of times to get the film just right, but he did return.
Well, John, last night when Mr. Stadtmiller broke this, he ended it with what I had put on my paper for him, and I'd like to do that today too.
Please. When
you do this, folks, you're going to help keep both you and RBN alive.
Outstanding. That's a great way to wrap up this conversation, Dan. Great way to wrap this up.
Thanks for the opportunity, John. I hope people will support RBN.
Well, thank you, Dan. We'll be talking privately. Appreciate it. We got a top of the hour break. Everybody, just hold on. We'll be right back. We're back, second hour here on Tuesday, March 6th. Okay, prepper tip of the day. If you live in certain states, I'll name a few of them. There's others: California, Illinois, New Jersey, New York, several other states. You just might want to consider buying yourself a lever-action centerfire rifle No, 22. Not that I don't have anything against 22s, but I would suggest first getting a centerfire lever action rifle, a good quality one from Winchester, Savage, Henry. There's others out there. Those particular states may soon make it illegal to own a semi-automatic rifle. They'll let the lever actions go for a while. They don't, to the liberals, the anti-gun liberals, who are fearful of evil-looking rifles, at least in their opinion. They're not so fearful of the lever-action rifles that have been around, for about 125, 130 years, something like that. Actually, going back to 150 years, you go back to the Civil War. So that's your prepper tip today, is to equip yourself with these lever-action rifles. Get yourself very competent and trained in their use. Make sure you got spare parts and plenty of ammunition. All right, we will have open to lines this hour. The call number is 800-313-9443. Got a question, call, or comment, let us know what it is. Okay, let's see. At my website at thelibertyman.com, I continue to be amazed at people that, people I'm related to by blood and marriage who don't know that last July I was awarded the Prague Peace Prize in Prague, Czech Republic. They're not paying attention, obviously. I had a dear friend visiting with me over the weekend, a man I've known for more than half a century. He didn't know. He's been busy himself, not following my work. But this past July, 2017, I was in Prague, Czech Republic, and I was awarded the Prague Peace Prize. Quite a achievement for myself. My first trip to Europe. I had some appreciation for what Europe is and Europeans, but having been there, I have a much greater understanding of Europe and what Europe means to Western civilization. Europe, of course, is the center of Western civilization, where Western civilization comes out of Europe, and we trace our lineage back to Rome and Greece, of course, for the basis of our culture, along with other things, of course. But and I may be going back. It's not definite yet. I may be going back to Prague in September this year to speak at the next event, where there will be the next recipient of the Prague Peace Prize will be awarded the Prague Peace Prize, and I'm looking forward to possibly doing that. It was a lot of fun. The trip over and back was not fun at all. They keep making these spaces between the seats, front back of the airline seats, closer together so they can fit one more row of seats in. At the expense of anybody who's bigger than a 12-year-old boy. I'm not a large guy. I'm 6 feet tall, but I only weigh 175. My heart goes out to people who are much larger in girth, shall we say. It would be pure misery to be in one of those seats. I managed okay, but if you're a big guy or a big gal, I cannot imagine having to endure 10 or 12 hours in such accommodations. But God bless the ones that do. If they want to travel that bad, God bless them. Okay, new things at my website. We have a new headshot of myself. I was getting a number of people telling me, John, you don't look the same anymore. So I took the time, went to a professional photographer a couple of weeks ago, got a nice new headshot there. Still got the photo of me in my tiger stripe fatigues on the running board of a Deuce and a Half, one of my favorite vehicles, by the way. Not necessarily, well, it can be fun to drive for a short while. I wouldn't want to drive cross country in one. I have been a passenger cross country in the back of a Deuce and a Half. The riding on those very nice, comfortable, solid oak, as in OAK, solid oak bench seats in the back. That was about 12 hours of pure misery. But they're a great vehicle. And Leon Green and I have talked about deuce and a halfs. It's 2.5-ton truck that were manufactured in the 50s and 60s and into the 70s. Very wonderful vehicles in terms of power and reliability and how much they cost compared to how much they're worth. Wonderful vehicles. In fact, you can get one that's okay, not pristine condition, for about $3,500 for about twice that, which is still the cost of a routine ATV, for about $6,000 or so. I've seen deuce and a halves that are in pristine condition, ready to pass an inspection in the military. That's how nice they are. So the deal with these deuce and a halves is there's a lot more deuce and a halves than there are people who want to buy them. That's why the price is so reasonable on these trucks. 10 wheels, 8 pushing out back, and 2 pulling in the front if you put it in all-wheel drive. Or as my buddies would say, when I was driving through this thick gumbo mud in Vietnam, what used to be a soccer field that the French had when the French Foreign Legion was in our community there in Canto, Republic of Vietnam. Moore put it in million-wheel drive. And so we slogged through the 12 to 14-inch gumbo mud, just churned through it with really no difficulty. Amazing vehicle. We got a caller on hold here, our friend Rick in Missouri. Good morning, Rick.
Good morning, John. I just had a comment. There are symbols that they don't have any letters connected with them for man and woman and change, birth, death, infinity, whatever. I always wanted to create a symbol for unintended consequences, and then that could be like my gift to humanity. One of the things that I find fascinating about, and I'm really talking about last hour's subject a little bit, is that most of the teachers of the world are liberal. Even in the conservative place where my wife teaches, it's pretty much a 50-50 deal. Now, if in fact, I would be very uncomfortable suggesting categorically to anybody that any of these problems that we've been having lately within the schools, the violence, that it is not coming from the deep state. I would not want to say that, and I make that comment not glibly at all. I'm making that comment because, after reading certain materials by like Eustace Mullins and some other people who describe basically the playbook of the deep state, this kind of terror is right out of their playbook. How they do it, well, that could be anybody's guess. And I'm just saying I wouldn't be comfortable saying that they weren't involved. But what I find fascinating here at this point is the unintended consequence. We have, there's talk everywhere about this group of people who are normally pacifists, liberal educators, now arming themselves and off for training. And I just don't know if that was what the deep state had in mind. So I think that, to me, is humorous. They're, in some ways, they're actually forcing, I think, people who ordinarily would not have wanted to maybe take a stand or at least an active stance. They're forcing people into one of two camps, and I'm not sure that was their best move, but, that's just my opinion.
Well, I respect and agree with your opinion. The concept of unintended consequences is part of what's going on. Please recall, Rick, it was 2 years ago this spring that all this anti-Confederate war memorial hysteria came up out of nowhere. And the pushback was unprecedented, and literally unprecedented sales of Confederate battle flags nationwide.
There you go.
Unprecedented purchase of books that tell the real history of what happened in the War of Northern Aggression. Unprecedented numbers of new Confederate war memorials being purchased and set up, which isn't being talked about at all, and people prepared to defend the existing Confederate war memorials by legal means and possibly other means. What's going on right now is unprecedented. Like for example, Google keeps track of searches. The searches for NRA membership in Google have increased 4,700%. Rick.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure. Did they really? This could not have been what they intended. It just couldn't have been. Well,
with the modern paradigm, they can, let's go back 120 years. The mass media was newspapers at the time. There was no radio, and the owner of many of those newspapers, he took personal credit for starting the Spanish-American War. So if you controlled the newspapers back then, you controlled the national dialogue. And up until pretty recently, prior to the internet becoming what it's become, it was possible for very few people to control the national dialogue. That's over. That's finished. They can't do it anymore. They're scrambling, shutting down various YouTube accounts, for example, which won't work. Now, I believe today, Rick, listen carefully, Rick, the Health Ranger, Mike Adams, today is announcing his own new platform to take the place of YouTube, which I'm going to be looking at.
I was just talking to Tim Spencer about this exact thing. We need to hit them just last night. We need to hit YouTube right in the pocketbook hard.
Well, if YouTube goes away, I won't cry any crocodile tears, but I'll be looking real hard when Health Ranger starts his new platform, which is supposed to be launched today. I'll be looking at it and paying attention, and I'll probably become part of what he's doing because he has a massive audience. He's doing the right thing for the right reasons, and the deep state is scrambling. They are desperate. Donald Trump was not supposed to be elected. It wasn't his turn. It was never supposed to be his turn. They promised Hillary Clinton Hillary Clinton was the first one to reveal the truth about where Hussein Obama was born. He was born in Kenya. She was the first one to talk publicly about that. And they got her to shut up in exchange for promising her to be president in 2016. So they're desperate. They're scrambling. They know they're losing, and all the things they're doing, such as shutting down the Health Ranger, Mike Adams, from YouTube, is just going to end up not working. It won't work. We have, and we will develop alternative platforms that will be excellent and accomplish our goal of getting the truth out to as many people as possible. Now, Rick, we got a break coming up here, but we got a couple of minutes. Would you consider talking to me, talking to our audience, I should say, about Neighborhood Watch here for a few minutes?
Oh, you mean today?
Yes, right now. You have time?
Yeah. I won't be able to stay too long. We're right in the middle of rehabbing something that I can do that. Sure.
Okay. Well, let's just begin from the beginning.
All right.
This came up last week, and one of my listeners, a longtime listener, he suggested that you and I have this discussion live on the air as opposed to a private conversation, which I'm not opposed to either, obviously. But given the nature of the world we live in, I think Neighborhood Watch is a good thing if it's done properly. So the first step is to find out if there's interest in your neighborhood from people that you're friends with and know and trust. And next step is to go to your local police department or sheriff's department, depending where you are. If you're in an unincorporated area, it may be a sheriff's department. If you're in an incorporated area, it's going to be a police department. And find out who's in charge of setting up and running neighborhood watches for your community. If they don't have that person that does that, they'll probably designate someone. And then work with that person who is in charge of setting up Neighborhood Watch to make sure it's done properly and in compliance with all local and state laws, and move forward from there. Neighborhood Watch can be very effective, but whether it's successful or not successful is going to be dependent upon the initial way it's set up. It has to be set up properly in the beginning to make sure that it will have the success that people want it to have, which is to protect innocent life and property. So that's what you need to be doing out there, Rick. You're in unincorporated St. Charles County or an incorporated area?
Yeah. No, it's unincorporated. We're just about as close to Warren County as you can get. Okay. So we're way at the very western edge of it. So it is kind of weird. It was that we did have sheriffs and deputies. They now call themselves the St. Charles Police, and I'm not sure why that is, because to tell you the truth, I really did like the idea of having deputies and sheriffs. That was cool, but it's now they call themselves the police. But sure, yeah, it's unincorporated, and this is an interesting group of guys. I'll tell you that.
There is. Well, hold that thought, Rick. Can you hold on after the break?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
All right. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. It's taken 3 years before I could offer the inter-shelter domes for sale. During those 3 years, several different governments and militaries were taking all their production. The inter-shelter dome homes may be just what you've been looking for to provide affordable, energy-efficient, permanent, and attractive housing. These dome homes are prefabricated units that can be assembled in a few hours by 2 men with a ladder and simple hand tools. Check out the photos of these dome homes built in the Arctic, on tropical beaches, in suburban areas, and in forests. All the details, many photographs, and the pricing of the dome homes are listed on the left-hand side of my homepage at thelibertyman.com. I think you'll find these homes are not only attractive, but they're energy efficient, and a bonus. You can disassemble them and reassemble them as many times as you feel you need to. Pretty great, huh? Something that's very, very unique. Check them out at my website at thelibertyman. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Back. J.R. Moore here on Tuesday, the 6th of March. My website is thelibertyman.com. That's thelibertyman.com. I'll be in Dallas later this month speaking at the Hear the Watchman conference. About 1,200 or so Christians getting together to hear a whole bunch of really excellent speakers. I will be the keynote speaker at the Saturday luncheon. If you plan on attending, you want a discount, go to my website, get the promotion code, and get yourself a discount for attending in person. And there's also a discount for the live stream version of watching the event. So check that out at my website at thelibertyman.com. We're visiting with Rick here, and we're talking about starting a neighborhood watch in your neighborhood. Now, Rick, some departments may offer training. I would hope they would. Some may not. Right. There may be a way to segue, if you get a group that's going, segue into doing some training that would be helpful for individuals, such as first aid, CPR, for example, maybe ham radio training, maybe a CERT class, if there's any money. I hear the money is not as readily available as it used to be for CERT at CERT, Charlie Echo Romeo Tango. CERT training, typically put on by fire departments, not police departments, but it could be done by either. But once the neighborhood watch is established and ongoing, there's a number of very positive and good directions it could go, isn't there?
There is, and here's the thing. You would think in a relatively small community like mine that we would be intimately familiar with everyone in there and their backgrounds, and yet I only probably really have that information about a handful of guys. For example, I knew that one of the guys that showed up is a volunteer firefighter. We also have a number of nurse practitioners. This is weird. We are loaded up with medical personnel. Very strange. And I knew some of these things, but I did not know how astute or how proactive any of these people would be. So because of an actual lack of a conversation of any kind, I had no idea I was going to get a response like I got, as quick as I got. And while I am uplifted, I think that that Chinese fire drill that we had was not, what's the word I'd be looking for? It wouldn't be as organized as I would like to see if things actually get worse. That was just kind of a, what should I say, an appetizer or an accident. I would like to see something far more purposeful or intentional.
You're referring, for people who don't know our conversation last week, you're referring to the out-of-place pickup truck with expired temporary tags on it, where 3 young men had decided to park it on private property and trespass across private property to get to a fishing lake that they had no authority to be there and do any fishing, did they?
That's exactly the point. If in fact they weren't sinking a body, but yeah, that's the deal. And when you start getting phone calls from the neighbors and it's pitch black and it's as quiet as a tomb, and you go out there and they're nosed into the tree line, so that technically speaking, whoever's in that truck could have been anywhere in the tree line doing anything. Hypothetically waiting for somebody to come out. You just don't know. And it is unsettling at that point, and you really do welcome any help that you can get. Additional headlights, all the kind of things that I've got, additional, I should say at least ex-military. It was a good thing, but like I said, it was completely off the cuff. It was unorganized.
Just spontaneous.
I would like to see something.
Right, just spontaneous. The men of the neighborhood spontaneously acting together, finding each other to protect the neighborhood.
It was neat. Yeah, it was really cool. But I would like to see something organized. That would be, I think, optimal. And rather than just, and I think you were spot on with your assessment of the other skills. I mean, this shouldn't just be a Western movie here. We should talk to some of these gals who are into who are professional healthcare people, nurses and that kind of thing, and see just what we really do have. I doubt very seriously whether we know our assets at this point.
Well, that's one of the foundational things to do, is to determine what the skill sets are in your group. That will show your strong points that you already have and the weak points that need to be shored up. Yeah, and there's people all over the country and all over the world listening to you and I talk right now, Rick, and they're thinking, boy, I wonder if I could do a neighborhood watch in my town or my area. Here's our bottom of the hour break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. We're continuing our energy cleaner promotion, which began August of 2016. In this promotion, you get to buy an energy cleaner, $70 off retail, and a mattress pad, 10% off retail. $200 of the purchase price of the energy cleaner goes to Republic Broadcasting. This is a great way to help get energy cleaners out to people who need them and have some financial issues to deal with. And, of course, a great way to support Republic Broadcasting. Here's what you do. Send in a postcard. My address is John Moore, P.O. Box 201, Davidsville, Missouri. We pick a postcard every 2 weeks. If your postcard is drawn, you get the chance to buy the energy cleaner, $70 off retail, and 10% off the mattress pads. Put your name and your address, your telephone number, and your email address on the postcard, and we wish you the best of luck. Thank you. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Tuesday, the 6th of March. My website is thelibertyman.com. That's thelibertyman.com. I talk about energy cleaner procrastinators occasionally. It's become kind of a mantra, I guess you could say. Energy cleaner procrastinators, men and women who have issues with joint pain, arthritis pain, back pain, and are thinking about getting an energy cleaner. Men and women who have issues getting a good night's sleep and are thinking about getting an energy cleaner and haven't yet. That's the procrastination part of it. It takes a period of time. It varies from person to person to get past the procrastination, bite the bullet, and make that call to my toll-free number to order an energy cleaner and a mattress pad to go with it. Once you do, and you take delivery, you get everything set up, you're on the road to getting the energy that you want, the health that you want, the pain relief, the great night's sleep, getting your life back. Really, what are you waiting for? Get your life back. The energy cleaner is $285. $285. Shipping included to American zip codes. I do offer a 90-day money-back guarantee. Check out the details at my website at thelibertyman.com, where you can place your order using PayPal, the most secure way. It's kind of a fun way, actually, to make payment online. MasterCard, Visa. You can send me a check or money order. My address is at my website at thelibertyman.com. I have a toll-free outline. Here it is, 800-313-9443. I say again, 800-313-9443.
John, that's not it. That's
what
not
is
it.
Oh,
you're
that's
doing
Republic Broadcasting.
592, go ahead.
9543. Thank you, sir. I'm a bit distracted. 800-592-9543. But you're welcome to call 800-313-9443 if you want to be live on the air and have a question or comment for us. Thank you, Rick.
Okay.
A big part of what you're proposing here, Rick, for your neighborhood will be the social aspect of it.
Sure.
And that will typically involve backyard barbecues, that kind of thing, street parties, whatever's appropriate for your area, where the husbands and wives, the children can all enjoy themselves, get to know each other on a social basis. If it's just training, you're not going to get the kind of participation you want. If you combine the fun part of it, the social part of it, with the training, you're basically going to double or triple the amount of people who participate. And that needs to be kept in mind. It has to be fun. If it's not fun, if there's no food, people won't show up. That's simply the nature of people.
Right.
Yeah. Now, our preparedness group out in Davisville, we begin this coming Friday. We'll start movie night. Every Friday night, we show a free movie at the American Legion Post where I'm the commander, and we get together and talk about the things, the events of the day, what's going on in the cattle business. We got at least 3 or 4 guys that are cattle ranchers. What's going on with the kids, and what's going on with geopolitical matters, and the price of gasoline, all the things that people talk about. We have hot dogs and brats and fresh hot popcorn and ice cream, soft drinks, coffee. It's just a lot of fun. And we have a 10-foot screen with excellent projector and great sound system. People have a lot of fun there. What you do in your neighborhood is going to be appropriate for your neighborhood, Rick. It's going to be every neighborhood is going to have its own nuances of what they do, how they do it, why they do it. Down in Louisiana, it's going to be different than upstate New York, isn't it, Rick?
It is. They'll have crawfish, but we won't. We'll probably have something else. We do have, I'm lucky in this. I'm lucky in a number of ways. We have a community fire pit, which is regularly used, and people hang out there quite a bit. We have also, since the place is only about a mile and a half across, we have talked loosely, myself and some of the ex-military guys, about handy talkies and other ways to communicate just inside the neighborhood. But that entire conversation was just kind of a one-time thing. So I think we need to probably go back and go over some of these things again in a formal way.
Right. It has to be structured. It has to be organized. A casual conversation without structure, without organization, will never result in anything that's worthwhile. So that's why I suggest bring in the police department from the get-go, because a county the size of St. Charles County is most likely going to have an officer that's assigned to help set up and work with groups to want to do neighborhood watch. I would say almost without a doubt. St. Charles County is now a first-class county, isn't it? I believe.
Oh yeah, and about the size of Rhode Island. It's huge. Yeah, it's just massive. I don't even know. It takes 45 minutes to drive across it. So it's really big. Right.
Well, it's geographically it's big, and population-wise it's big. Yeah, and I believe when you became a first-class county, that's when the sheriff, they probably took away most of the authority of the sheriff, maybe, and I don't know what's going on out there since I haven't worked out there for decades, but most likely the sheriff is now just serving papers and doing custody of the county jail and maybe court security, that kind of thing, which is basically what's happened in St. Louis County. Regardless. You need to take this bull by the horns there, Rick. Work with the men that you have expressed interest in this and move forward. Contact the police. Have a neighborhood meeting set up at somebody's home where the officer in charge of setting up neighborhood watch can be present. This neighborhood barbecue, is it just a freestanding, was it stone or concrete blocks, or what is it?
Yeah, somebody went out and got all kinds of large rocks and put them in a big circle, and then every time a tree in the neighborhood drops, they chop it up and drag it down there and throw it there. And, that's it's social recycling at its best. Then they just burn it and, sit around and do whatever, talk and drink coffee or beer, whatever they're up to at the point.
Okay, so it's really not a barbecue pit per se. It's just a safe place to burn trees that have been blown down, basically.
No, there are chairs. No, they've got chairs all over the place. The kids play down. It's all the way at the end of the cul-de-sac. Kids play. It's a social gathering point is what it is.
Okay, all right, good. Well, that sounds like having neutral territory for people to get together is something that needs to be looked at. Also, it sounds like you've already got that. Who owns the property?
One of the guys that showed up at this spontaneous armed response situation.
Okay.
All right. That would be he's a fire. What do you call it? A volunteer firefighter. So
okay.
This is a good start. Yeah, I'm really I feel like the skids are greased here. So I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Well, the volunteer firemen I've known are good guys and good gals who want to see their community be safe and be protected, and they don't. they don't just show up to fight fires. They go through a lot of training to make sure that they'll be safe and know what they're doing to protect lives and property. It's not just a bunch of yahoos showing up with no training and don't have proper equipment. It's a long way from that these days, isn't it, Rick?
Oh yeah, these guys have serious EMT medical training. These guys, in some cases, I'd rather be under their care than go to one of these med first things. I mean, these guys are good. They're really good.
Right. Well, it's their passion, and when you're passionate about something, you tend to be good at it and pay attention and know how to do it properly. Well, we will take questions and comments if people got one. If they want to call us, give us a call at 800-313-9443, and we'll certainly entertain those questions and comments. It needs to be, the neighborhood watch needs to be non-threatening to the men and women, especially the women. Anything that is going to eventually involve the use of deadly force is going to be perceived as being threatening by any number of people. The way to counter that is to, first of all, not get into it immediately, to let the group be organized, and that's another reason to have the police. And having the police be present from the get-go will give people a certain level of trust, and knowing that proper authorities are involved from the get-go, that there's going to be a chain of command involving the police, that the paramedics and the fire department will be involved also. All that will help give people peace of mind that this is something being done properly and safely, not a bunch of rednecks grabbing their guns without a proper command and control training and so forth. All that's going to play together, isn't it, Rick?
Yeah, and I would say another thing. Down on the corner, we have in one of these neighborhood watch signs up on the street sign, and now that I think about it, I believe somebody called the authorities at one point. I think it was some of the older people. When I say older, I mean older than 75. Tried to set something up, I guess, so they feel more secure. And so whoever set that up, I'll talk to them and see who they talk to, and we'll just go right through that doorway again, and we'll just pick that up right where they left off.
Right. Well, there's no way to, of course, I can't tell how long ago that sign was set up. Those people hopefully are still around, and we still have some.
Just barely.
Barely around, okay.
Just barely. Yeah, both on walkers at this point, right.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, you're talking about their physical condition. Well, they may still have some interest in that, or at least provide some guidance as to what they did or did not do, and what success they may or may not have had. In fact, those signs probably went up when the sheriff was still in charge. Would that be accurate?
Absolutely, yeah. It did. Yeah. Those signs have been up there at least 10 years. So I'm not sure, where we stand, but that's a good place to pick it up. And I think having somebody in the uniform around will lend the whole thing an air of credibility and professionalism. The ladies, that's the other thing. You're going to bring all these people down. You've got about 37 homes, and that means about 70-something people at least. And you're going to have some lefties, in that group. Some people who are, who will obviously not want to participate for one reason or another. Although I would say, the old adage, you don't need a gun very often, but when you do, you need it fast and you need it real bad.
Right.
I'm sure they'll whine and complain right up until the point that there's a problem, and somebody pulls their butt back out of the fire, and then all of a sudden they'll be big fans. They'll be on board. So, I never expected my wife to take the strange, hawkish attitude she does, but she doesn't like these. She's a teacher. She doesn't like these school shootings. She also doesn't like it when they run the drills, and they run through the halls with blank guns, and then try to pull her door open. She did that stuff all. She doesn't like it, and I think her response is interesting in that. she doesn't mind so much me taking a gun to church. That's the way she's, is kind of changing her whole approach to everything is being threatened. And so I think, the people that aren't on board would be if something really ugly happened.
Right. Well, I've seen this many women, some men, but I'll use my wife as an example. She had virtually zero experience with firearms until she met me, and had little interest in it until she became a grandmother, and so her interest in protecting her own precious innocent life is nowhere near the level of protecting the innocent life of grandchildren. If there is a threat to a grandchild, and my wife is aware of it, you got a tiger by the tail. You do not want to be there in the presence of threatening my grandchildren with my wife around.
No, you don't. That's the honey badger. Don't. Yeah, that's that honey badger response.
Yeah. And you'll see that it'll be a mixed bag. So you have approximately 70 adults in your group there, in your neighborhood. There'll be some who want nothing to do with it, some who will be very, very interested, and some who will show up occasionally, and that's expected. That's just human nature. You'll end up with a core group of maybe 8 to 10, if you're lucky, of men and women who will be very active and participate in a lot of training. Another few who will occasionally show up for training once in a while, social events, maybe a lot, especially if there's food. And then people who will never show up and you won't know that, then they could care less. But that's expected in any group, any volunteer group of this nature. That's expected, Rick, and you go into it with your eyes wide open knowing that, don't you?
Yeah, and the other thing I would say about this is that I would say this, because we're semi-rural, the responses from people like the EMTs or the fire department can be a little lengthy. And so if we had a core group that included somebody with high-class, medical skills, these people might say, well, I'll put up with, having my perimeter secured by ex-military if I fall down the stairs, I can get one of these nurses to run right over while we're waiting for the ambulance. So I mean, there are I think ways to sell this.
Right.
As a product.
Something you need to sell and make people aware, especially people with the medical training, is the Missouri Good Samaritan statutes. They don't use that words, but that's what many of us as concealed carry instructors call them. Good Samaritan statutes that give people the ability to help others and reduce, if not eliminate, liability. So, because that's a concern that many healthcare professionals have. Oh my God, what if I hurt somebody while I'm trying to give first aid? Well, that's why we have the Good Samaritan statutes. The governor and the state legislature want people to help people that are in need, and that's why we have the Good Samaritan statutes. They need to be aware of this so that they will have one less excuse for not helping.
Right.
Here's a break. Here's a break, Rick. We'll wrap this up after the break. Stay tuned, everybody.
Okay.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Tuesday, the 6th of March. Rick, I think our conversation is helping educate a lot of people nationwide. I'll certainly be available to talk privately to help your group get started there in St. Charles County. I had a question for you. What's your proximity to the Missouri River?
Well, let's see. You'd have to go up to Highway 40 and down. Oh, well, let's see. If you cut through the back way down through Dutzow, I can get to the old Iron Bridge, and I think you know where that is in Washington. I can get there in about 20, 25 minutes, 22 minutes, something like that.
Okay, so you're not in the floodplain then, in other words.
Oh, no, I'm at 722 feet, 722 feet.
Okay, all right. Well, that's an issue for much of that county, is floodplain, and then old river bottom, which during an earthquake liquefies. So you may be on dry ground, but the old river bottom is a mix of sand and dirt, and that's an issue for much of St. Charles County. Well, good, you're not part of that. It sounds like that's excellent. Rick, what follow-up questions do you have before we wrap this up today, sir?
None at this point, but I will say this, and I think, in order to make this an intelligent concept or a package, what I need to do then is to proceed, and I'll talk to you about that in private, and then proceed, and then I think I should, to be completely responsible, report back to you guys on the air about what is happening and what stumbling blocks I hit or what successes I have. So I think I should probably do that too.
Well, updates, periodic updates when you've got something to report would be well received, and possibly help encourage other people to move forward with their own Neighborhood Watch program. One of the good things about Neighborhood Watch is it's well known nationwide. It's politically neutral, non-threatening to most normal thinking people. So it should be an easy sell for most people most of the time, Rick.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what we need to call it. We don't want to call it the neighborhood militia or anything like that.
No, of course not. Right. No, absolutely not. That just scare people off. All that stuff.
Yeah, the girls won't like it. Right. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that is exactly what we should do, and I think that's how I'm going to proceed with it, using those exact words. And this will be interesting to see how it's accepted.
Well, I believe it will be successful, Rick, and we'll work together to make sure that happens that way. I don't want to be cut off by the music. I want to thank you for being with us, and we'll talk soon. I appreciate it, Rick.
Yes, sir. All right. Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay, very productive hour, I believe. Very productive. And Rick's moving forward with his Neighborhood Watch. What are you doing? We've got our preparedness group, and where I am, Rick's getting his Neighborhood Watch going. The question is, what will you do to get your neighborhood to be safe? That's it for the day. Get your medical supplies, your energy cleaning, your essential oils now while you can, your firearms ammunition. Never, ever give up your guns. Have a fun, safe, productive day. And God bless America.